But the outsiders are in the house.
The outsiders are not in India at the moment. At the moment, they are marginally in Pakistan. They are in Afghanistan chasing. They are in Pakistan chasing one man. They're in Afghanistan chasing one man. Last seen carrying his kidney machine and sitting on a white horse and going towards the Tora Bora caves. Now let them go on finding them if they wish. We were able to live peacefully in India, whether the Taliban was there or not there. We must deal with Pakistan on our own. And we cannot deal with them by not dealing with them, which is what is happening most of the time.
I want to get, Raja, just Sadish,
I have just two very quick comments.
Yeah.
Look, ideally you should resolve your problems, and I have no quarrel with money that internally we must be much stronger, and regrettably we have neglected security for ages and ages and ages, and that's why we are in a mess. But the problem arises what happened in 62. You can have another 62. That's why what I am saying is that do not do deals and have communiques that everything is out.
Let me put it to you like this. What do you think?
You have to have a hedging strategy.
What do you think, whether money likes it or not, what do you think Obama will say to Manmohan Singh on Afghanistan and Pakistan when the cameras aren't there and when the journalists
He'll say the K word.
He'll say the K word.
He will say the K word.
He will say the K word.
He will say the K word.
I would say, look.
I would just like to add.
Let me be contrary and say, what's wrong with that? You want America to intervene and weigh in with Pakistan when it comes to the Lashkar-e-Taiba and other groups. But
if
you don't want them anywhere near
Kashmir. He can say the K word, but then you say the T word. I'm not saying the P word. I'm saying the T word, which is that you've got, look what's happening on terrorism today. It's increasing. The levels of infiltration are up, and this is going to go on. I just wanted to add in another penny's worth.
For Obama, the T word might be Tea Party also. Anyway.
Yes. No, what I'm saying, I'd be very happy to see the Americans out of the region. I think they should.
You think the withdrawal will not adversely impact the region?
No, and I think it would make dealing with Pakistan, which is on the bilateral level, much easier.
Right.
I think the Americans there are a complicating factor.
Both of us want to have it both ways.
Both America and India.
You put pressure on Pakistan to stop cross-border terrorism, but don't tell me what to do vis-a-vis Pakistan. They come and tell you, look, you help us by giving concessions on Kashmir, but don't tell us how to run Pakistan. I think both of the policies have not worked. I think what we need is, behind the curtain, the question is, here are forces that are threatening both of us and Pakistan. Can we think differently? Can we work together with the Pakistani civil society to defeat these forces? That is the issue, and I think that breaks the paradigm of it's not about giving each other things, but it's about how do we work together.
Pete Dagger, when the Obama administration was sworn in, the conventional wisdom was the Republicans were much better for India's interests. When Richard Holbrooke was appointed Pakistan-Afghanistan envoy, there was a great deal of panic on whether he would drag Kashmir into the equation. One of your fellow countrymen, Charles Ebinger, in the morning was saying he wouldn't give Holbrooke any diplomatic job. As a joke he said it, but I can tell you, Sanjay is laughing, a number of people laughing on the panel, many people feel that here, that there is a certain abrasive brusqueness in the approach to India. The absence of the K word, Kashmir, do you think it's going to come up behind closed doors?
Yes, I do, but not publicly.
What do you think he'll be saying privately? What do you think he'll be saying privately?
I wouldn't want to comment on that. I wouldn't want to get involved in that. That's going to be a lose-lose for everybody.
I don't think we have to be anything defensive about. Look, this government has actually negotiated with Pakistan. It has negotiated on Kashmir with Pakistan.
Yes.
Between 2004 and 2007, more happened between India and Pakistan than in the previous 40 years. So if that is a record of this government, I mean, why are we afraid of someone saying it behind the closed door? We tell them, look, this is what we tried to do.
You know that if President Obama were to say Kashmir openly, there would be a huge backlash of whatever kind of...
That's our jumpiness. You know, the Prime Minister is in a good position to say, look, we've done this, which no other government in India has done. Now, you want to help us with this, or you want your agenda? That if it is about changing Pakistan, we have a common agenda. But if it is you getting me to do things so that you can get out of Afghanistan easily, that's not on. So I don't think we are afraid of any conversation.
There has to be maintained a distinction between what happens behind closed doors and what happens in an NDTV studio. I mean, it is because that golden rule was cracked when the Indian and Pakistani foreign ministers met in Islamabad and started discussing among themselves what they had already discussed in public, what they were discussing privately, that the whole problem came up. Mr. Obama should feel completely free to raise whatever concerns he has with Dr. Manmohan Singh behind closed doors and vice versa. So it's a completely equal relationship. You ask me what you're interested in, I'm going to tell you what I'm interested in. But when we come out into the public, he has been very, very good in not mentioning the K word. And I am not at all upset that he didn't mention the P word. And as far as the C word is concerned, I hope the C word will also not figure in all this. There is an India-US relationship. And then there is a relationship which India and the US together can play in the world. The India-US relationship involves the grocery list and the takeaway shop. As far as the world is concerned, I insist once again that to make this a truly historic visit, if Mr. Obama and Dr. Manmohan Singh were to agree that there will be a joint India-US initiative aimed at an eventual elimination of nuclear weapons, it will be a huge breakthrough. It will change the nature of the world and change the nature of the future of this world and of humanity.
But in the interim, we may be left with only the grocery list, and on that grocery list, my colleague Sarah Jacob saying that when Barack Obama speaks with the business chambers later this evening at around 6 o'clock, you will see announcements on America liberalizing export controls. The export control system will be reformed. 20 deals to be announced between America and India worth $10 billion, expected to create over 50,000 jobs.
In America? How many in India? I kept seeing that, you know.
This we don't know right now. 3 Indian entities will be taken off the entities list, DRDO, ISRO and BDL. India to be treated similarly as other close allies for dual-use technology. Now this is important. We had
a domestic law.
Yeah. What does that mean exactly, Raja? Does that mean we're seeing the restrictions lifted entirely?
Domestic export control law, they got a whole lot of gradations of different people put in. We are in the worst category at this point.
Yeah.
So what we've been asking is that, look, it's not a question of removing 3 public sector organizations from the entities list, but of saying that, look, if we are a strategic partner, we should be right on top of the list, where much of the export should take place without any restriction.
And do you see that happening on this
I think whether they'll actually announce the intent to do it, or actually they change the category, but I think that will have to wait the domestic reform. So that there'll be 3rd category in terms of international groupings, the nuclear suppliers group, the various other groupings where they'll support India's membership. So all the 3 will form one package.
All right, so India to be treated similarly as other closer allies, and Boeing and General Electric to get contracts, GE to get a contract for 414 engines to power India's indigenous light combat aircraft. Sanjay Puri.
Well, obviously, he's getting a big boost in terms of jobs, and that I think is good news. But I think Mani made the point. India, what is the job creation for India? Again, a relationship is only bilateral if it works both ways. And I think that's where President Obama really needs to focus, is what is in it also for India? Because you can't have a grocery list and not pay the bill, because you kind of have to pay the bill when you go buy groceries. And I think that's very, very important. I hope he leaves that when he comes.
All right, just enough time to get last comments from all of you. Pete, let me start with you. We have some sense of some of the announcements today. What would be the big picture message for you at the end of these 3 days that would make you call this a successful visit?
I think if he were to highlight the ties we have between our 2 countries, how we could help each other's economies, and how we could strengthen each other's democracies and security, I think that would be a good trip at the end of those 3 days. I just noticed too on the Boeing deal, the Boeing aircraft deal, Boeing is headquartered in Chicago, Illinois, the hometown of President Obama. So I'm sure that news went over very well. And that's going to create some jobs. And yes, it's also going to create jobs in India too. Let's make this a long-term partnership and not just rely on one visit to solve all our problems. We hope to come back again and again, and we hope to strengthen things in the future.